So you have probably seen Huawei's new pick and drop or airgraph feature, right? That super cool thing where you can just drag a file from your phone and it appears on your laptop like magic. So today we are going to code this pick and drop thing from scratch. Literally recreate the whole grab and drop vibe you see on Huawei devices. But we will do it our way, piece by piece. So by the end, you will actually understand how it works and not just see it. Before we start though, quick note. Sorry for not uploading for a while. A lot of you guys messaged me after I posted the demo on LinkedIn. It kind of blew up. So you all asked for a full tutorial. I wanted to do it sooner, but honestly, I have been stuck with my final year thesis. I picked a really stupid topic that's been giving me a hard time. So, yeah, this pain is real. So, firstly, let us create the mind map first. That means how things will flow. Let's say we have two users. This is user 1 and this is user 2. They both have their phones with them. Let's say this user has an ID of 1. When we will assign this ID, I will talk about this later. And this has ID 2. So this user 2 has an image. He wants to send it to user 1 through hand gesture. So obviously we will need an intermediary server. So this is our server. Now there are multiple ways or multiple approaches you can implement this. So one of the approaches may be the WebRTC method. That means as soon as this user opens the app through socket connections, he will be connected to the server. And when this user also opens the app, he will be connected to the server. Then when this user 2 with his hand will do a grab gesture, then a WebRTC channel will be created between them and the images can be delivered very fast. But we will not implement this method. We will do another method that is a lot easier, but that is not always efficient. And our approach will not be as fast as WebRTC, but for understanding the concept, I think this is enough. So let's say this is user 2 and this is user 1. We will have a central server. We will create this using Node.js and our client will be using React.js. Let's say this user has a phone and he has an image, and this is the client. This will be built using React and Tailwind. So what will be the flow? So first of all, we need to ensure the data integrity. That means if this user does a grab gesture and if this user does a drop gesture in his phone, then the image should be delivered if and only if they are friends. Now how can they become friends? There are multiple ways. One of the way is you can create a slash friends page, and on that page all the registered user will be shown. So user 1, user 3, user 4. So when user 2 opens this slash friends page, he can see that these users are registered on the server. So he can click on any user and a pop-up will appear that is send request, and he can click on that. Then user 1 will see that request and he can respond to that. He can accept or reject that request. So that is one method. Another method will be session based method. That means I don't need to be friend with user 1 for lifetime, because file transfers are not a lifetime process. I mean, I may only need a file from user 1 for once in a lifetime, so I don't need to be friend with him for lifelong. So that method will be the user's friends list will be stored on a cache memory that may be a Redis, or uh, you can use the JavaScript built-in map that can be used as a cache on the server. For this reason, for using Redis or cache memory, so you have to use the socket, WebSocket again. So when this user connects to the server, then his profile becomes visible on this page, and let's say another user connects to the server, his profile also becomes visible to this page. Now when one user wants to become friends with another user, he will only be able to see the presently connected users on the server. That means the user are now connected with socket connections, and as soon as one user disconnects, then his all data or profile will be removed from this page. That means he is no longer on this app. So that can be another method. Now in our case, we will create a friends map to store the user's friend list. That means if id1, let's say this user has id1 1 and this user has id2, then in the friends map, id1 will be mapped with id2, and similarly id2 will be mapped with id1. That means they are both friends to each other. Now how the data transfer will be implemented? So when this user, let's say id2, he does a grab gesture. So as soon as he does this, the image will be sent to the server and it will be processed through Malter. Malter is an image or file handling library of JavaScript or Node. So through Malter, it will be handled and it will be stored on a local folder, let's say /uploads folder. So when we will store this on /uploads folder, we will get a path that will be /uploads/ the image name. Now in another map, we'll name that image cache. In that map, as user 2 uploaded this image or wants to send this image to user 1, so id2 has sent an image and this path, this image path, will be stored in this map. Now when this user 1 or any user will do a drop gesture in user 1's device, that can be done by user 1 himself or that can be done by user 2. That means if they are standing close, then user 2 can do the grab gesture from his device and do the drop gesture in user 1's device. So when in user 1's device a drop gesture will be done, then first of all he will do a request to the server that a drop gesture has occurred in my device. Now as soon as the user 1 requested the server will look the image cache, that what is the latest image that is uploaded by some user. He will see that id2 uploaded an image. So he will firstly check the friends map, that if id2 is friends with id1 and also id1 is friend with id2. That means if they are both friends. So only if they are friends, then this image path or the image data will be sent to user 1 and he can view the image here. So that will be the simple process, and for our case we will simply hard code this. You can implement this /friends page by yourself. That can be your assignment for this project. So that is all. And what about the gesture recognition part? So for that we will use PyTorch.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on.
We will use TFJS or TensorFlow.js, and we will not directly use TensorFlow.js, rather we will use a wrapper above this, that is ml5.js. This is much more simpler and easier. So what is this ml5.js? So for the gesture recognition part, we will create a custom dataset. That means we will create a bunch of images of grabbing. Let's say these are all grab images, and a bunch of images of dropping. I have provided the link of these images on the description box. You can find that there. So we will train the model by providing these images, and for training we will use Teachable Machine, that is a browser based ML model trainer. And after training, that means we will just feed these images on the Teachable Machine, and it will create a model link for us. It will create something kind of link of that model on Google Drive .json file, and using ml5.js we will implement this. So we'll install ml5.js in our project. We'll import that, and simply we'll create ml5.classifier. That means we are classifying if this is a grab or if this is a drop gesture. So we'll create a classifier. We'll provide it this link here, and we'll store this in a variable classifier, and simply there will be a function that is classifier dot classify, and we will pass the classifier here. We will pass the video. So in this app when the user opens the app, a video is automatically opened at the background. So the video is always running, and he is always asking for the gesture. So if he finds a grab gesture or a drop gesture, then according to that he acts. So for that reason, we'll create a video element in our project, and we'll pass the classifier and the video here, and we'll get a callback function with result. So from this result we can simply do our functions. That means if the result equal to grab, then we can do one thing. That means we will do a API call to our server, and we can post the image to the server. And else, I mean, if this is not grab, that means if this is drop, then we will do a fetch request. That will be a get request from the server, and we'll get the image and show it on the screen. So this is very much simple. When we will code, it will become more clear. That was all about the concept. Without further ado, let us get started with our project. So firstly, open the terminal, and let us create the project directory first. So I will create make directory. I will name it pick and drop. Now move inside pick and drop, then create another two folders, name those client and server. Now you can open this with VS Code using code space dot. So you can see here inside pick and drop two folders are created. One is client and another is server. Now again go to the terminal, or you can use the VS Code terminal for that. I will firstly move inside the client folder. Let us create a React project here. So npm create white at the latest. The project name will be this folder name, that is client. So press dot. We will be using React. Choose React. We will be using JavaScript. We will not use the roll down white. You can start this with npm now. I will click no. So now you can see inside client folder a React project is initialized. Now I have to run npm install. This will install all the dependencies that we need for our project. So all the dependencies are installed now. In our project, we will be using Tailwind CSS. So for that reason, go to tailwindcss.com, go to their docs. Then here you can see the installation process using Vite. So we have already done this. Now we have to install Tailwind. So copy this and paste that here. Now we have to import Tailwind CSS on vite.config.js. So copy this, then go inside vite.config.js and here import that. And after importing, we have to include Tailwind CSS inside the plugins array. So go to plugins here, after React give a comma and paste that and save this file. We are almost done. We have to just import Tailwind CSS on the index file. So copy this, go to src, then index.css, and here you can remove all the CSS and paste that. Save this file. Now you can delete this app.css from here. From assets you can remove the react.svg. Now go inside app.jsx, you can remove all the codes from here and create a new fresh component pressing RAFCE. This is a shortcut for creating a React arrow function export component. Now press enter. You can remove this React import, we don't need that. So now we are almost done with our client side. Let us test that. So we can start the project using npm run dev. So you can see the project is started on localhost 5173. You can control plus click, or you can go your browser and write localhost 5173. So you can see the project is working perfectly. Now let us see if Tailwind is working perfectly. So here give a class name and let's say text 3xl. Save this and again go to your browser. You can see that the text is now 3xl size. So we are done with configuring the client side. Now what will be the folder structure inside the client? There will be two pages inside client. So one will be the main home page where the grab gesture will be done, and another page there will be the drop gesture will be done. So let us create a new folder, name these pages. Now inside pages, firstly create home page .jsx, create a React arrow functional export component here, and create another file, name this drop page .jsx, and create another React arrow functional export component. Okay, and we will route these pages in this app file. So for that reason we need React router DOM. So let us install npm install React router DOM. Now again start the development server, npm run dev, command J to hide the terminal or control J for Windows. Now here we need to import first of all the browser router, then routes, and then route from React router DOM. Then inside this return we will return a browser router. That means we will be wrapping the whole app with the browser router. So browser router, then inside this router there will be some routes. So then routes, and inside the routes there will be initially for us for this project there will be two routes. The first one will be, it will be the this path, it will be home page. That means when user opens the app, firstly they will be in the home page, and in element we will provide the home page. You can see home page is imported from /pages/homepage. Similarly, we'll copy this and paste it here. Then on /drop route there will be the drop page, and remember to import drop page from /pages/drop page. Now we are almost done. We need one component for directing the gestures, that will be the video component. So inside src create a new folder, name this components, and create a new component, name this gesture detector .jsx. Write rafce. And if you are wondering how I am doing this, you need one extension, that may be ES7, this one, ES7 plus React Redux React snippets. So if you install that, then you will get a bunch of shortcuts. So now what we will do inside gesture detector, inside this we will run the video on the background of the app. That means if you are in home page or if you are in drop page, you need to always check if the user is doing a grab gesture or a drop gesture. So for that reason you need to always, or in a definite time interval, you need to actually check the gesture, and for that reason you need to keep the video element or video component open always. There are multiple ways actually to optimize this process, but in our case we will keep the video element open for all time. Okay. So this gesture detector, it will be a common component for both the home page or the drop page. So we will write it here above routes. That means all the routes will have this as common. So let us import that gesture detector. So we will detect gesture from this route, and we will pass the gesture from this to home page and drop page. So for that reason, let us create a common state on the root file. So let's say const current gesture set current gesture equal to use state, import use state, and initially it will be null. Also we will need the confidence of that gesture. We will be using a machine learning model, and every machine learning model they provides with a confidence. That means how much confident the model is that if this is a grab gesture or this is a drop gesture. So the confidence will be gesture confidence and set gesture confidence equal to use state. So let's say this will be 0. Now let us create a single function that we will pass to gesture detector to set our gesture. So const handle gesture equal to, we will have to pass the gesture and confidence to this function, and this will set the current gesture as the gesture and also set the gesture confidence to confidence. Now we will pass all the properties to our home page and drop page. So on home page we will pass the current gesture equal to current gesture, and also the gesture confidence equal to gesture confidence. Similarly we will pass them to the drop page too. So paste that here. Now on gesture detector, we will pass on gesture, we will pass this function handle gesture. Now let us see if these routes are working or not. So here you can see now currently we are on the root page or the home page, and the home page component is shown, and with that the common component, that was gesture detector component, that is also being shown here. And if we go to slash drop page, you can see that the drop page component is shown and also the common component, that is gesture detector. Now let us start with our functionalities. First of all, we have to go to the gesture detector component. We'll create this first. So before creating that, let us also create our server. So press Ctrl J to open the terminal. Now let us create a new terminal here. Here you can name this terminal uh, to server and name this to client. You can also change the colors. I will change this to green, and change the color of this to, let's say, blue. So it will be easier for us to differentiate between them. So we will move inside server. We'll initialize npm inside the server directory. So npm init -y for yes. So you can see here a package.json folder is created, file. Now we will have to install some packages. So we'll install npm install. We'll need express first of all, then cors obviously, and then Malter for handling the files. That's all for now, and we need to install nodemon globally for constantly watching the server. But if you have this installed globally, then you don't need to install this here as dev dependency. I have installed globally, so I will not install it. Now inside this, create a new file, name this index.js. So this will be the entry point of the server. So for that reason, go inside package.json. Here you can see the main entry point is index.js, and we'll write some scripts here to run or test the server. So for production environments, the command will be npm start, that will simply run the index.js file using node. And for development, we'll run the server using nodemon index.js. And here the type is common.js, but we will be using the module type. So write module here, and we are done. Now here firstly we have to import express from express, then we have to import cors from cors, then we have to import Malter from Malter. Now let us initialize the app, create an instance of express. So const app equal to express. Let us define the port, const port equal to, let's say, 5000. Now let's use cors, app.use cors. We need to define some configuration here. We'll do that later. Now firstly let us listen on this port, app.listen. So we'll be listening for any upcoming requests to this port. Pass a callback function, and let's console.log server is running on http://localhost 5000. Let's not hardcode this, rather write the port. And let us create a test route or a health check route. So app.get on/health, request response, then we will pass JSON response.json, let's say status, okay, and that's it. So now let us start the server using npm run dev, as we created the script dev here. So run it. So you can see server is running on http localhost 5000. Now if you control plus click here, here you can see cannot get slash. That means on slash or on route there is nothing, but if we hit on health route, then we can see a JSON status, okay. So our server is working perfectly. Now we will create the model. So for that reason we will have to go in Teachable Machine. So Teachable Machine, it's a web-based tool developed by Google that allows user to create machine learning models without writing code. Here users can train models by providing examples through images or different audios or also different poses. So here we'll click on image project, then click on standard image model. Now there will be two classes. One will be grab and another will be drop. And here click another class, that is none. Though we don't need this, but I was getting some abnormal errors. For that reason I had to create that. I don't know if this error will happen to you or not, but it will be safer to create this. Now we need to feed the model images. So we'll need a bunch of grab images and we'll need a bunch of drop images. Also we need some bullshit none images. So we'll train the model by the images and then we'll get our final exported model. So for that reason we need a bunch of images. The more image you feed, the more accurate will be the confidence of the model. So where you will get the images? I have clicked a bunch of images for myself. I will provide the link of them, the drive link of the images, or you can use the final exported version of the model, so you don't need to manually train it. So it's your choice. So I'll choose all the images from my device. So we'll select all them. The more variations of grab images you can provide to the model, the accuracy will be more. So try to feed different variety of grab images and in different places, not in a particular single place. Now let us choose some drop images. So I will choose it from here and open them. Now the final one, that is the none. So here I have some random images of me or my room. I will open them. So all the images are provided now. Now we will train the model. We'll keep the epochs as 50, the batch size as 16, and the learning rate as 0.001. So click on train. And keep the tab open during the training process. So the training is done. Now you can test the model here. So allow your camera. So now you can see the output here. The output is none and the confidence is 100%. Now if you do a drop gesture, then you can see the output confidence is 100%, and you can grab and you can see the grab gesture, it detects perfectly, and drop it also detects perfectly. So now we will simply export the model. So click on export and here click on upload my model. You will get a shareable link. Copy this link and save this somewhere. You will need that later. So we can save it here. I will just paste it here because I will need it later. Now let us go to the gesture detector and let us complete this component. So this component, it will simply return a video element. So video, and this video will run on the background. That means it will be hidden. So first of all, let us give this a width of 640 and a height of, let's say, 480, and give it a style of display none. So it will be hidden and it will automatically start, so autoplay, and also it will be muted. We don't want any sound. So for this video, for tracking this, we'll create a ref. So const video ref equal to useref, import useref from React, and here inside the video element pass that ref. So ref equal to video ref. Now we will load the model in this video element, because when the video element is ready, then we will load the model. So for that reason, firstly create the state for video. So const is video started, set is video started equal to use state false. So initially the video will not be started, and for the model, from the model we will create a classifier. So for that classifier we need a state, and using that classifier we will actually classify the gestures in our video. So create a state for the classifier to classifier set classifier equal to use state. Initially there will be no classifier, and now we will call use effect to actually load the model first and pass an empty array. That means on the initial render of this component we will call this use effect. Inside this we will load the model. So create the function const load model equal to, it will be asynchronous obviously, call this function. Now how we will load the model? So for that reason we will need ml5.js. So go to ml5 npm. So you can see this is a friendly machine learning for the web. That means the model runs on the browser. So there is no third-party server, no fear of data leak. All your data stays on your browser, and as the model runs on your browser, so the communication between the model and the video element is so fast. So it can detect the gestures within nanoseconds. But we will not install it using npm because there are some bugs I faced them. For that reason we will use the script tag. So copy this tag here with the version here, copy this, then go to your VS Code and click on index.html. Here after meta paste that and change the version to 1.0.1. This is the most stable version I worked with. So save this file and close it. Now how will we access the email5 that we just added in the cdn tag here in index.html. So we can load the packages from cdn using window. So let us create a variable const loaded classifier equal to await window dot ml5 dot image classifier. Now inside this there will be two things. First of all, the model. So here create a variable model url equal to for production environments you need to save this in environment variables, but for now on we can just simply copy it and paste it here, put this inside quotation, and after this slash just put model dot json, and remember to put a const here. So this image classifier function, this takes two things. First of all, it will take the model url, and second of all, there will be a callback function. Here we will simply console log that gesture model loaded, and that's it. It is that simple to load a model and work with a model. Now after that, and you can see the logs here, gesture model loaded. So if you go to the browser, you can close this. Here if you inspect, you can see a welcome message from ml5 and the model is loaded. You can see here gesture model loaded. So after loading the classifiers, you need to set the state of the classifier. So set classifier to the loaded classifier and you are done. Now just wrap this up with try catch. Write try catch, and inside catch we'll simply console.error model loading failed and simply log the error here. So that was all about actually loading the model and setting the image classifier. Now we have the model, so we will need the video to actually start working with classifying the gestures. So create a function const start video. So this function will initialize the camera access using the browser's web media API, and it will stream the video to the video element, and then it will trigger the machine learning based gesture classification. So first of all, we need to check if the browser has the media devices API, if it supports it. So if navigator dot media devices and then navigator dot media devices dot get user media, if it supports this, then we will request the camera access. So then navigator dot media devices dot get user media and we will only take the video. So video true, we don't need audio for our case. So this returns a promise. So for that reason dot then, that means if all the permissions are granted, then it returns a stream, and we will set this stream to the video ref that we just created. So if video ref dot current, if it's present, then simply video ref dot current dot source object equal to this stream. So now as this video ref is pointing to this element, so the camera stream is assigned directly to the source object, enabling the live playback in the browser. Now let us create the classify gesture function. That means when our all the video data will be loaded, then we'll call the classify gesture function. So const classify gesture equal to, so we'll create this later. So now after assigning this to source object, we'll start the video playback and begin classification. So video ref dot current dot on loaded metadata equal to, so this will fire when the source object is ready, that means the stream is ready. So then we will simply start playing the video first, video ref dot current dot play, and after that we'll set the is video started, this one which was false initially, we'll set this to true, that means the video is started. And also we'll call the classify gesture function, that means we'll start classifying. If the promise is not resolved, then we'll catch it. So dot catch, we'll get the error, that means the permissions are denied or some hardware errors. So console dot error, error accessing the camera, and we'll simply log the error. So that is all about the start video function, and we will call this start video on a use effect hook, pass a dependency and pass classifier here. That means when the classifier is ready, then we will call the start video function. So if classifier and also the video is not started, then we will start the video, and do not pass the is video started state here, it will be redundant. Now let us complete the classify gesture. So we will classify the gesture if we have the classifier and also we have the video ref dot current object, only then we will classify. So now if all are ready, so classifier dot classify, firstly we will have to pass the video ref, so video ref dot current, as I showed you earlier on the whiteboard, and then there will be a callback function. So we will get results and also error. So firstly let us handle the error. So if any error occurs, then we'll simply console dot error classification error, and we'll log the error here, and we'll simply return from the function. And if no error occurs, then what should we do? Firstly let us console log the results, and also we will recursively call this function again. So we will create a set timeout. So we'll call the classify gesture again after 30 milliseconds. So this is scheduling the next classification. And if no classifier and no video ref dot current, so else we'll simply again call the set timeout and again call the classify gesture function after 30 milliseconds. So save this now, and if you go to your browser and refresh it, so here you can see the results that we are logging. So if you click on any of them, you can see it's an array of 3 elements, each element with the 3 labels that we just created. One is none, one is drop, and one is grab. So each have their confidences. So you can see here none has the highest confidence 0.99. So in this array, the first element or the 0th element will always have the highest confidence, and similarly the second element with the second highest confidence. So now Let us go to the code again. So comment this line. Now, after getting the result, what we will do? We will set the gesture and the confidence by this function, handle gesture function. And you can see that we have passed the handle gesture function to on gesture director. So we will have to receive it. So here, firstly receive on gesture function. Now, after getting the results, if we have results, and then we also have the first element of the result, then we will simply call the on gesture, and you can see it takes two things as parameters. First one is gesture and second one is confidence. So simply pass the results 0 dot level first. This is the class name actually, that if it's grab, drop or none, and also pass the results 0 dot confidence, and that is all about this gesture detector component. So now we have all the states to control the grab and drop. So we have the gesture, we have the confidence, and we have passed them to home page and drop page. Now let us create the home page first. So in home page, we have to receive the props that we were sending from app.jsx, that were current gesture and gesture confidence. So receive those current gesture and gesture confidence. So firstly, let us create the UI of the home page. So give this a class name of minimum height of screen, then bg linear to bottom right br from blue 50 to indigo 100, and inside this all will be flex call, and items will be center, justify center, and also give a padding of 4. Now in this page there will be a file input. So on clicking on that, you can select any images from your device and select that for transferring. So for that reason, we need to have a state for the image. So const selected image set selected image equal to use state. It will be null initially. Then also we need to store the preview URL of the image. So const image preview set image preview equal to use state. It will be also null. Now let us create the input UI for the image. So if there is no image preview, then we will show the input file or the input tag, and if there is an image preview, then we will not show it. So if there is no image preview, then we will render this, and else we will render this. So create a div here, also create this here, Alt Shift F to indent. Now in this div, give a class name of background white rounded 2xl, then shadow of 2xl, padding of 8, and max width of medium, and also width full. Then create a h1 tag. It will say image transfer, give it a class name of text 3xl, then font bold text gray of 800, margin bottom of 6, and also text center. And we will provide some instructions to the user. So let's say select an image, then make a grab gesture. You can wrap this with a strong tag and give this paragraph a class name of text gray 600, also margin bottom of 6, and text center. Now we will create the upload area or the clickable label with hidden file input. So firstly create a label. Here give a class name of flex call items center, then justify center, also with full, then height of 64, give it a border of 2, then make the border dashed, give the border a color of indigo of 300, then make it rounded XL, make the cursor pointer, then on hover make the border indigo 500, then give it a transition colors and background indigo of 50, and on hover the background will be indigo of 100. Now let us create the span, and before that we will need some icons. So for that reason open your terminal, go on client, here kill this using Ctrl C, and npm install will use Lucid React. After installing, again start the development server, npm run dev, command J or Ctrl J to hide the terminal. Now here we will add an icon, upload icon. We need to import this from Lucid React. So import upload from Lucid React. Then here after upload we'll give it a class name of width 16, then give it a height of 16, then text indigo 400, and give it a margin bottom of 4. Then after that create a span and say click to select image, and give it a class name to text small text gray 600. Now create the input tag. It will be type file, then class name hidden, then it will accept images, so image slash static, and on change we'll have to create the on change function for this. So let's name this handle image select. So now let us create the function. So const handle image select equal to, we'll get an event. So firstly let us get the file. So const file equal to e dot target dot files, and we'll get the first one. And if we get the file, then we'll set the selected image to file, and let us create a preview of the URL. We can do that by creating a file reader. So file reader can convert the files to data URL. So const reader equal to new file reader. So reader dot on load end. So we'll simply set the image preview to reader dot result. So if the file is read by the reader, then it will set the image preview, and the reader will convert the file to a data URL. So think this as a function that reads a selected file and convert it into a format that can be displayed on the browser. So this is the configuration of the function, and we will now call this. So reader dot read as data URL, and we will pass the file. That was all about the handle image select function. Now let us see how this looks. So go to localhost 5173. So you can see UI looks perfect. And for going to the drop page, let us create a link here below it. So below the label, create a link tag, import it from React Router DOM. So this will send us to slash drop page, and give this a class name of margin top of 6, then width fit, flex, make the items center, justify center, then create a gap of 2, give the text gray of let's say 600, make it underline, also padding y of 2, then make the text extra small, then make it rounded, extra large, and transition colors, and give it a text of go to drop page. Now if you go, you can see this go to drop page. If you click here, you can visit drop page, but we haven't created the drop page yet. First of all, let us finish the home page. So else if we don't had image preview, then we are rendering this element or this div. Now if we have an image, if we have selected an image, then what? Then we will show this div and give it a class name of relative, then width full and height of screen. Then inside this we'll show the image. So create an image tag here, give this a source of image preview, the state that we created earlier, and we are reading our file and we are setting the image preview of the read file. Then after that, give it a alt tag of let's say selected image, and give it a class name of width full, then height full, and also object contain. So firstly, let us check if this works or not. So here, click on select image, select an image here. Oops, I think we have made some mistake. So if you go to console, so you can see here type error, selected image is not a function on 13th line. So if we check here on 13th line, oh, so we have to call the set selected image function, not the variable. So set selected image here. Now save this again. Now if we go refresh this, now let us select an image. Okay, so now you can see the image preview. So when we will grab this image, then we will show some animations. That means the image is grabbed. So for that reason, let us go and create those animations. So here we'll need a variable first. That means if the image is grabbed. So let us create those variables. So const is grabbing, set is grabbing equal to use state. It will be false initially. Also we need another state to check if it has been grabbed successfully. So has grabbed, set has grabbed equal to use state. It is also false. So now we will create the handle grab function. So const handle grab equal to, it will be asynchronous, then if no selected image, that means if no image is selected, we will not call this function, and if currently is grabbing, then we will not again invoke the function for redundancy. So then we will return. Now we need to track the last time when the image was grabbed, because we will not allow the user to grab the image continuously. That means when the user will do a grab gesture, then our ML model will continuously classifying the image as grabbed, and it will continuously trying to grab the image. So we don't need that recursive classification and recursive grabbing. So for that reason we will firstly declare a variable. So const grab cooldown equal to, let's say, 10,000. We will wait 10 seconds between the grabs, and let us track the last grab time. So const last grab time equal to useref. So pass 0 and import useref from React. So where we are using useref because it persists between renders, and here let us update the cooldown timer and set the loading state. So last grab time dot current equal to date dot now. That means when this handle grab function is called, then that time will be set as the last grab time, and set is grabbing equal to true. And let us prepare the image data. So const after the image is grabbed, we will prepare the data equal to new from data, and then we will send this image to the backend. So we will do an API call and we'll send the image to the backend. So what we will send to backend? First of all, we will send the image, and it will be the selected image, and also we will send the ID of the user. Now where is the ID of the user? So as I told you earlier, for our case we will hard code this ID. Let's say const user ID equal to id1, as I showed you during explaining the concept of this project. So you can enable authentication in this app, and from there you can get the ID, or also you can use UUID package. UUID, you can use this package to always create new and unique IDs in each session for each users. So now we will append this ID, so user ID, to the form data. Now we will simply do an API call. So write try catch. On catch, simply console log the error, console.error, and pass this error, and also set is grabbing to false, and set has grabbed to false again. And inside try, we'll send this data to backend. So const response equal to await fetch. Now we have to pass the URL. So let us create the API URL here. that is equal to http//local localhost. Our server was running on port, you can see this URL localhost 5000. So this URL we will put it here, localhost 5000. Now we will pass this URL here. So API URL slash, we will pass this on, let's say slash upload route, and then we will have to pass the data. So the method will be post and the body will be the from data. Now let's extract the data from the response. Const data equal to await express response dot json, and if data dot success, that means if we successfully get the data, then we will set the has grabbed to true. That means we have successfully grabbed the image, and we'll set a timeout, then set the is grabbing to false after 2000 millisecond, that means 2 seconds. Now here in handle image select, here also if we have the file, we are setting the set selected image to file, and after selecting a new file, that means after selecting each new files, we will the set has grabbed to false, and the last grab time dot current equal to also false 0. Now let us create the loading animation when the user is grabbing. So if is grabbing, then we will render this element or this div, give this a class name of absolute, then insert 0 flex items center, then justify center, bg of black, and bg opacity of 50. Then we will create a 3-layer pulsing animation here. So for this, create 3 divs, copy this 3 times. Okay, firstly let me create the class names, then copy, that will be more easier. So give this a class name, animate of ping, then absolute, give this width of 96, then height of 96, and I'll make it rounded full, also background white, and give it a opacity of 75. Now copy this div, and these divs will be empty divs. So just fix here, give this width of 64 and height 64, and give this width of 32 and height of 32, and provide this div with animate of pulse, and this one with animate, let's say bounce. So that was all about the animation, grabbing animation. Now we need to detect the gestures. So for this reason, let us create a use effect hook here. Pass the dependency array. Now here, firstly we will check the last time when the last grab was done. So const time since last grab equal to date.now minus last grab time dot current. Now let us give a check. So if current gesture equal grab, and then we'll also check if the gesture confidence is greater than a certain level. So for that reason, we need to have a threshold limit for the gesture. So let's say const confidence threshold equal to, let's keep it 0.7 for now. So if it is not greater than 0.7, then we will not treat that as a correct gesture. So if gesture confidence is greater than the confidence threshold, and if we have the selected image, and also if it is not currently grabbing, and also if it not has grabbed, and the final check will be if the time since last grab is greater than the grab cooldown. That means if it is greater than 10 seconds. If it is within 10 seconds, then we will not detect the gesture again. So if it is greater than grab cooldown, then we will call the handle grab. You can ignore this error. Now we will pass the current gesture, then gesture confidence, selected image is grabbing and also has grabbed as the dependencies. So this is all about the home page. I think we are done. For now, let us check if how this works. Firstly, let us inspect and open the console to see any errors. So here, click on select image, select an image and do a grab gesture. You can see the loading UI showed for a while, but it didn't work perfectly because we haven't still created the routes, the backend routes and the controllers. So let us create those first, but before that let us create the drop page. So the drop page will be quite similar to the home page, so you can copy this variables from here and paste that here. Now here also we will need some states. So const received image set received image equal to use state, it will be null initially, sorry, use state, it will be null initially, then const is dropping. In the home page we saw is grabbing, but here it is dropping, set is dropping equal to use state false, and also const has dropped, which was has grabbed on the home page, so has dropped set has dropped equal to use state keep it false. Now here also we'll track the last grab time, so const drop time, create useref, then keep it 0, and also create the handle drop function. So const handle drop equal to, it will be asynchronous. Then firstly let us give a check if it is currently dropping, or if it is has dropped, then we will return, and else let us set the last drop time. So last drop time dot current equal to date dot now, and also set is dropping to true, and then we will create the backend call. So give it a try catch. Here simply console.error error and create a set timeout. Here set the is dropping to false and give it a 2 seconds timer. Now inside try, firstly we will create a request to our backend, const response equal to await fetch we will provide the API URL, then it will be to slash drop, and also slash we need to pass the ID. In this case it will be receiver ID. So here rather user ID, let's say it receiver ID, and pass this here receiver ID. And here rather grab cooldown, it will be drop cooldown. Now let us extract the data equal to await response.json. Now if data dot success and then data dot image path, we will send an image path from the backend. That means the relative path from the uploads folder where the image will be stored on the backend. Now if these are present, then we'll create a set timeout, then we will set is dropping to false. Sorry, there was a typo. And also set has dropped to true, and before that we need to set the received image to, we'll convert this into a browser viewable URL. So firstly we have to pass the API URL of the backend, then we need to pass the data dot image path. I will show this what is this after finishing this component. So you can also log this and see what is this. So console log. Now pass a timer of 1000 milliseconds, and else if data is not successfully received, then simply we will call the set timeout and set the is dropping to false. Now let us create another use effect hook for detecting the gesture. So use effect, pass a function and also a dependency array. Then firstly check the last time since the last drop. So const time since last drop equal to date.now minus last drop time dot current. Now here also put all the checks. So if current gesture, so we haven't received the current gesture here in the drop page, so we have to receive the current gesture and also the gesture confidence. So if current gesture equal drop, and then if gesture confidence is greater than the confidence threshold, also if it is not dropping, and also if it has not been dropped, and also if we have no received image, and finally the time since last drop is greater than drop cooldown. Sorry, only that time we will call the handle drop, and here pass the current gesture, then gesture confidence also is dropping, then has dropped, and also received image. Now let us create the UI. So give it a class name of minimum height of screen, then bg linear to br, that is bottom right, then from green 50 to emerald 100. Then make the inside elements flex. This will be flex in column direction. Make the items center, justify center, and give it a padding of 4. Now if we don't have any received image, then we will render this div, and if we have a received image, then we'll render this one. So if we don't have any received image, we will simply show a placeholder for the dropping gesture. So give it a class name of rounded 2xl, then padding of 8, max width of medium, and width of full. Now if the user is doing a drop gesture, then we will show some animated circles. So for that reason, if current gesture equal drop, then we'll show this div, give it a class name of flex items center, then justify center. Inside this, create another div, give it a class name of width 48, height of 48, then make it rounded full. Also give it a bg cyan of, let's say, 200, then make it animate pulse, also shadow of 2xl, then flex, justify center, and items center. Inside this, create another div. It will be an empty div. Give it a class name of width 38, height of 38 32, sorry, then rounded full, then bg of emerald, let's say 100, and animate pulse. Now if the current gesture is not drop, then we'll simply show a placeholder. So create a div, give it a class name of bg white, rounded to xl, then shadow of xl, padding of 8, then max with medium, and with full. Then inside, create a h1 tag and say drop zone. Give this h1 a class name of text 3xl, then font bold, text gray, let's say 800, and margin bottom of 6, and text center. And also, like the home page, we will show some instructions here. Alt Shift F to format. So here we'll say make a drop gesture. Let's see how this looks. If you refresh it and click on go to drop page, you can see this is the drop zone. Now let us style this a little bit more. So here below the paragraph, create another div, give it a class name of flex call, then items center, also justify center, then with full, height of, let's say, 64, then border 2, then make the border dashed, and give the border a green color of, let's say, 300. Now make it rounded xl and make the background green of 50, and give a margin bottom of 6. Now below this, we will create an icon arrow down imported from Lucid React. Give this a class name of height 16, width 16, then text green 400, and margin bottom of 4. And below this, create a span, then say waiting for drop gesture, and give this a class name of text small and text gray of, let's say, 600. Now let us see. Okay, so this looks perfect. Now we are almost done. So let us create another thing, that is to navigate back to the home page. We need a link tag. So below this div, create a link tag, import it from React Router DOM, say back to home, and give this a class name. Also remember to put the link path, that is slash or the home or the root route, and the class names will be, it will be absolute, then bottom of 8, left of let's say 1 by 2, transform, negative translate x to 1 by 2, then flex, item center, gap of 2, then text gray of 600, text will be extra small, make it underline, padding x of 6, then padding y of 3, transition colors. Now if we check, you can see back to home. If you click, you can go back to home and you can go back to drop. Now we are only left with this, that means when the image is received, this part. So give this a class name, relative, then width full, then height screen. Inside this, firstly, if it is currently dropping, then we will do a loading animation. So if it is dropping, then we will do the loading animation, create a div. So simply copy this one from here and you can paste that here, but here without bg opacity, give it a z index of 10, and inside this move the bottom div to upwards, pressing alt and up arrow, and move this one also to the middle, and give the middle one an opacity of 50 and remove the opacity from the bottom one, and give this animate ping and this one animate bounce. After that we will show the full screen display of the received image. So create an image tag here, inside src provide the received image, give it a alt tag of received and give it a class name of width full, height full, then object content. So that was all about the drop page. So all the functionalities and UI are done and it looks quite beautiful. So now let us create our backend functionalities. Let us collapse the folders. Now inside server, inside index.js, we'll do all our jobs. Firstly, let us configure the course first. So here uh, we'll set the origin to only a set of specific origins. Only from those URLs anyone can make request to our server. So let's create a function, pass origin and then callback. Then let us create an array of allowed origins. So the first one will be, for our case, it will be the void development server, http://localhost 5173. And after we deploy the app, then we will provide the production URL here. Now if no origin, so that means if the request has no origin, that means if it is coming from like the testing softwares like Postman or Insomnia, then we will allow it. So we'll return callback null and true, that means we will allow this origin. this returning this callback is a method of allowing the origin. Now in another case, if allowed dot includes origin, that means if the origin is included in our allowed list, in that case also we'll return the callback with null and true. And else if it is neither mobile origin or also if it is not included in our allowed array, then we'll return a callback with a new error, say not allowed by course. So let me collapse this now, and after origin let us set the additional settings. So we'll set the credentials true, we'll allow all the cookies, and set the methods. We'll allow get, then post, then put, then delete. Also the allowed headers will be content type. Now for the deployed version we need to set app.set trust proxy to 1, and we have to parse the JSON request bodies. So app.use express.json, and also we'll parse all the URL encoded form data. So app.use express.url encoded and extended true. Now we are done with the server setup. Now let us process the file handling. So in our server there will be a folder named uploads. We can create that manually or you can create that by coding. So for that reason we will need some file handling utilities. So first of all we'll need path. So import path from path, then we need to import fs, that is file system operations, from fs, and also for path resolutions we need to import file URL to path from URL. Now after importing this, let us do the ES module path setup. So first of all we will have to convert the modules URL to a normal file system path. So const file name equal to file URL to path, then import dot meta dot URL, and then we'll extract the directory containing the current file. So const directory name equal to path dot directory name, then we'll pass the file name. After doing this, let us set up the uploads directory. So const uploads dir equal to path dot join, we'll pass the directory name that we created, and we'll create a new folder naming uploads. So this builds an absolute path to an uploads folder that will be located next to the current file. Now this just create the path, it doesn't create the directory yet. So for that we will firstly check if fs dot exist sync, and we'll pass the uploads directory. If it doesn't exist, only then we will create the directory. So fs dot make directory, we will pass the uploads dir. So this will create the uploads directory. You can see after you save it, it has created the uploads directory. Now after that we need to serve the files inside this uploads directory. There will be obviously images, we need to serve those static images. So for serving static files we need to app.use, we need to use a middleware, and we will pass this slash uploads directory and also express dot static uploads dir. Now what will this do? It will make the uploads folder, it will be directly accessible via URL. That means our server URL is http localhost 5000, and let's say in slash uploads folder, in slash uploads, we have an image that is, let's say, image1.jpg. so now if you jpg. Now if you copy this and paste this after the URL here, and if you copy this and paste this on a browser, then you will be able to show that image if that image exists inside the uploads directory. So we will be storing all the upcoming images inside slash uploads. And now you can understand why inside the drop page here we set the received image as API URL and the data.image path, because this data.image path we are getting from the backend, and the URL API URL is this URL, this one. So this one is the API URL, and this one will be the path that will be sent to the front end. And if you concat these two, then you will get a fully accessible URL through your browser that will show the image. So this URL, this slash upload slash image1, we will save this on a local cache. So for this reason, firstly let us create the image cache. So const image cache that will hold all the image paths, that means this path. So we will create a new map here. The key will be user ID, so it will be saved as id1, and the value will be the path, that means slash uploads slash, let's say, image1.png. So in this way the image paths will be saved in this map. And also let us create the friends map. As I told you earlier that we will hardcode this for now, but you can make this dynamic yourself. So friends map equal to new map. Let us hardcode this as id1 is friend with id2, and also id2 is friend with id1. So in this way we can check if the user that is asking for a photo or that is trying to drop an image in his device, if he is the friend of the user who has grabbed the image or not. Now we will create the multi storage configuration. So here we will create the multi configuration for handling the files or the images that will be sent from the front end. Firstly, we have to create a storage const storage equal to multi dot disk storage. Now we have to provide a destination. So destination, then request file and a callback. Then simply we will call the callback, then provide null and the directory, that is the uploads directory that we created. And then we need to create a file name, that means the file that will be sent from the front end, like image1. We need to create an unique name, that means there may be two files with image1.jpg. If both of the images are stored in the uploads directory, then we cannot differentiate between them. So we need to create a random ID and a random name for the image. So for that reason, let us create the file name that will also be assigned a function with request, then file, then a callback. Firstly, let us create a unique string by math dot random then convert to string to base 36 and dot substring 7. Now create a timestamp equal to date dot now. It will take the current time, and let's take the file extension equal to path dot ext extension name, then file dot original name. We'll pass it and we'll get the file extension. Now let us extract the original name of the file without the extension. Path dot base name, then we'll provide the file dot original name and also the extension. Now after that we'll create the final file name for the image. So callback, then provide firstly null, then pass the name. So the name will be, let's say, image, then we'll provide the original name of the file. With that we will pass the timestamp also, that means when the file is received by the server, and then we will provide the unique string, and after that we'll provide the extension. So this multer engine will create our file destination and also create a name for the file and save that using that name to the uploads directory. Now create an instance of this multer. So const upload equal to multer, then we have to pass the storage that we just created, and we are done with the configuration. Now we will create the routes and the controllers. So let us firstly create the upload route. So app.post. So when we will do a grab gesture, this route will be called, as you saw in the home page. So here you saw that if the current gesture is grab, then handle grab function was being called, and the handle grab function, after getting the image data, it was making a post request to the API URL /upload. So /upload. So here firstly we will upload the image to the /uploads folder. We'll do this using this instance of multer. So upload dot single, we'll upload a single image. Why image? Because during uploading inside form data we appended the image file by name image. So upload dot single image, we will upload it, then there will be the callback request response. Now let us create a try catch block first. Inside catch, firstly console dot error, let's say upload error, and pass the error, and also send a response with a status code of 500.json, say success false, and also pass a message that upload failed. Now inside try block, if there is no request.file, if we are not sent any file, or if the file is not uploaded through multer, then we will return response.status with 400.json. We'll say success to false and a message that no file uploaded. And if we have the file, then we will have to firstly extract the data from the request. So const user id equal to request dot body dot user id. As you saw in home page, we are sending the user id within the form data. So we will extract the user id here. Then let us create the image path. So const image path equal to, it will be /uploads/ the file name, that is request.file.file name. Why we need this image part? Because we want to store it on the image cache here. as I told you earlier, that we will store this path in this image cache that will be mapped with the ID of the user. That means which user sent that image. So now here image cache dot set, we will set this with user ID, that will be the key, and the value will be the image path, and simply send a response back that the image is successfully uploaded, and send a message that image uploaded successfully, and you can also pass the image path. So this is the simple upload function, and we will also have to create the drop endpoint. So it will be a get method, app.get. It will be on slash drop, then slash, we will have the receiver ID. As you saw on the drop page, we are doing a get request on slash API URL slash drop slash receiver ID, and we hard coded that ID here. For this case it will be ID 2 because this one had ID 1. So now after getting the request, let us create the callback, then create a try catch block. Inside catch we'll simply console.error the error, and response.status with 500, that is internal server error.json. We will pass success to false, and message drop failed. And if no error occurs, then we'll firstly extract the receiver ID equal to request.params.receiver ID, and also let us find who the receiver's friend is, that means who should have sent the image. So const sender ID equal to friendsmap.get receiver ID. That means it should return, if ID 1 was the receiver, then it should return ID 2 as the sender. But if the sender ID is not present on the friend list, that means they both are not friend. So if no sender ID, that means if they are not friends, then we will return response.json success false, and we'll say no friend mapping found. And if they are friends, then we will check if the friend, that means the friend of the receiver or the sender, has uploaded an image or not. So we will check const image path equal to image cache dot get sender ID. That means if the sender has any image uploaded to the cache or not. So if his friends has uploaded any image, only in that case we will send the image to the receiver. Else if no image path, then we'll simply return response.json success false, and also give it a message that no image available from your friend. Now if the image path is present, then we'll simply response.json success true, then we'll send the image path and a message that image received. And before sending the image, we will invalidate the cache. That means it is an one-time receipt or one-time transfer. After you send one image, that will be deleted from the cache. So image cache dot delete, then we'll provide the sender ID. So it will delete the image with the particular sender ID. So that is all about the backend. It is a very small backend, only 145 lines of code. You can enhance this more. There are multiple or more ways to optimize the codes. I have only shown the prototype. So firstly, let us see if this works or not. Open the terminal. The server is running perfectly. The client is also running. Now let us go to the browser. Now we will create two browsers. So here also write localhost 5173. Here go to the drop page. So now let us select an image here firstly. So let us test. So if grab it, you can see image is grabbed, and if you go to the drop zone and if you drop it, and you can see the image is dropped. So now let us firstly close this and we will try to deploy this project. So create another terminal to the root folder. Firstly we will upload this folder to GitHub. So let me go to GitHub first. Let me create a new repository, grab and drop. You can clone the codes from this repository, it will be public. Firstly let us create a git ignore here, dot git ignore. I'll copy and paste all this here. Now git init, git add dot, git commit. Now I'll simply copy and paste this. So you can clone the repository from here and start working with them. Now let us see how you can deploy this project. So for deploying the client side, you can use Netlify. Just create an account with your email password or whatever you prefer. Now click on add a new project and deploy manually. Now you have to here provide the link of your build project. So for that reason, let's go to client, here run npm run build, and you can see a dist folder is created. Now if you right click here and reveal in file explorer, you can see inside client the dist folder. You can drag this dist folder, sorry, you can drag this, you can drag this folder and drop it here. So you can see the project is uploaded successfully, but here we will do some configuration. We will change the project name. Let's name it pick and drop. If you save this, so this project name is already taken, so let us provide a random number. This is also taken. Now so this is not taken, you can click it here and you can see the project is deployed successfully and it is asking for the camera permission after I start this. So you can click on allow, but it will still not work here. Tell me why? Because this URL, it is not enabled by course. So first of all, we need to go inside servers, inside index.js, and here you have to paste the URL, remove the slash. So this is also allowed by course now. Now we will need to deploy our server somewhere. So we can deploy that on render. Before that, let us push this update. So for that reason, go to render.com. Here, just sign up with your GitHub, so your GitHub will be automatically connected. Now inside projects, click on add new. Here click on web service. Then you will be shown your repositories. Here just click on the latest one that I just uploaded on GitHub, that is grab and drop. And the language will be node, obviously. The branch will be main branch, and here the root directory. So in our case, the root directory will be server. Why? Because you can see inside root, the server is inside the server folder. So as we selected the grab and drop, the whole repository, so we need to select the root directory as server. Now let us select the build command, that will be npm install, and the start command, that is npm start. Why npm start? Because here in package.json we set the start command as node index.js for the production environment. Now I think we are all done. The instance type, we will select the free one, that is $0 per month, and then we don't have any environment variables. I think we are almost done. Just click on deploy web service, and here you can see the logs. It is running npm install. Now it will run the npm start. You can see the build is successful. Now it is deploying the project. So you can see the build is done successfully. And if you scroll up, you will see a production URL of this server. If you click it here, and let us go to /health. If you click here, now it will wake the server up, and you can see the status is successful, status is okay, so our server is running perfectly. Now only one thing left, that is we need to provide this URL to our client. As you saw earlier that in homepage we had set the URL as the localhost one, but we need to change this now. This will be this one. And also in our drop page we will change this. Remove the slash, and after that again go to client, run npm run build again. So build is successful. Go to Netlify and project overview. Now here you can again deploy the project. So again here we'll refresh first, then drag the dist folder here. You can see again it is uploading. Now it is published. So if you click on the link now it will work perfectly. But one thing I will tell you that this render websites or render web servers, after 5 minutes or 10 minutes of your app's inactivity, they generally go to sleep. So before you try to use it after a long time, that means after 1 day or 1 hour too, then you need to firstly wake the service up by clicking on this link first, or you can click on your client link, then also it will awake, but it will take a little time, so you need to have patience for that. So now let's see if this works or not. And another thing, that is this thing works more perfectly on Chrome browsers, but I am using Brave. I was having some issues with Brave, but after I moved to Chrome, then the issues are gone. So let's open this on Chrome browser. Let us close this here. Now let us allow the camera and create another tab. Go to drop page in this tab, and here in the home page, now let us select an image. Now let's grab this image. You can see we have grabbed this. Now let us go to drop page and do the drop gesture. So you can see it is now more faster after we have deployed the project. So that was all about today. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. More interesting projects are coming soon.